When it comes to luxury SUVs, few names command as much respect as the Range Rover. Built with decades of refinement and known worldwide for blending rugged performance with elite comfort, it has become a symbol of success across continents. But in Ghana, a new name has been rising. Kantanka Automobile, a proudly African manufacturer, has produced the Onantefo, a homegrown SUV designed to meet the unique demands of African roads and drivers. The question is no longer whether Kantanka can build an SUV, it's how closely it can challenge a global legend like Range Rover. The real competition begins under the hood. The latest Range Rover models come equipped with a 3.0-litre turbocharged inline-6 mild hybrid engine, delivering 395 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. This powerhouse is paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission and a sophisticated all-wheel drive system. In contrast, the Kantanka Onantefo offers a 3.0-litre turbocharged V6 engine or an optional V8 variant, producing between 300 and 400 horsepower depending on configuration. Like the Range Rover, it uses an 8-speed automatic transmission and full-time all-wheel drive, but its tuning is aimed more at durability than refinement. Both vehicles offer strong engine performance, although the Range Rover's hybrid system gives it an edge in fuel efficiency and environmental standards. Technology and safety features also draw a line between the two. Range Rover's Pivi Pro system, dual touchscreen setup, Meridian sound system, and an extensive suite of driver assistance features set the bar for luxury innovation. Kantanka, aiming for rugged practicality, keeps its offering focused and robust. The Onantefo comes equipped with a touchscreen infotainment unit, voice controls, rear-view cameras, adaptive cruise control, and blind spot monitoring. It intentionally avoids overcomplicating the vehicle with fragile technology, understanding that simplicity often translates to longevity in harsher environments. When it comes to performance on the ground, the divergence in engineering philosophy becomes even more apparent. The Range Rover glides effortlessly over rough terrain, aided by its adaptive air suspension that adjusts on the fly to changes in road conditions. On the highway, it is so smooth and insulated that the outside world seems to vanish behind the glass. The Kantanka Onantefo, while not as silky, thrives where others falter. It is engineered to meet the realities of Ghana's unpredictable roads, potholes, dust storms, unpaved stretches, and flash floods. Its suspension system is built to endure punishment, prioritizing reliability over the refined feel expected in European or American markets. In terms of design, the Range Rover continues its tradition of understated elegance. Its clean lines, flush door handles, and floating roof make it instantly recognizable, yet tastefully subtle. Inside, it offers the luxury of soft Windsor leather, polished oak finishes, and options that allow buyers to tailor their experience down to the stitching on the seats. By contrast, the Kantanka Onantefo's aesthetic is bold and confident. A commanding front grille, aggressive stance, and elevated ground clearance immediately communicate toughness and authority. The interior is designed for resilience, utilizing durable materials that withstand heat, dust, and heavy use without deteriorating. It is less about impressing passengers with luxury and more about delivering a cabin that remains functional and comfortable in tough climates. With the specs, performance, and design explored, it is only then that the matter of price enters the conversation. The Range Rover SE starts at approximately $107,000 in the United States, but by the time it is imported to African markets, taxes and fees often push that figure to anywhere between $150,000 and $300,000. Maintenance costs are also notoriously high, with specialized parts and technicians often required for even minor repairs. The Kantanka Onantefo tells a very different story. As of 2025, the latest pricing places the Onantefo between 441,000 and 528,000 Ghanaian cedis, roughly 33,000 to 35,000 USD depending on the model and dealer. This makes it significantly more accessible, not just in terms of purchase price, but in long-term ownership costs. Parts are more readily available, service centers are local, and repairs are faster and cheaper. One of the strongest validations of Kantanka's progress comes from the Ghanaian government itself. The office of the Vice President has added Kantanka vehicles to the official presidential fleet, with multiple units delivered and more expected.
And therefore, whatever Apostle Kojo Safo is doing to enhance technology has to be encouraged by government. I also put it that the government has signed 2 MOUs with VW and Nissan to establish assembly plants in Ghana next year. That's a few days from now. And we have provided a stream of incentives to VW and Nissan.
Meanwhile, the Ghana National Police Service has procured Kantanka vehicles for operational duties, highlighting confidence not only in the brand's patriotism, but in its real-world functionality. Recognizing this momentum, the opportunity for expanded growth is clear. It has demonstrated what is possible with limited resources, but for it to truly scale to international markets, deeper partnerships will be essential. This is where the government and private investors can step in. Strategic government support, such as manufacturing grants, tax incentives, and export promotion programs, could provide Kantanka with the infrastructure it needs to compete globally. Meanwhile, private sector investors willing to bet on Africa's industrial rise could help the company modernize supply chains, expand production capacity, and open sales networks across Africa and beyond. With the right investment ecosystem, Kantanka could transform from a national success story into an international force, showcasing African excellence on the world stage. Yet, perhaps the most important layer of this comparison goes beyond engines, suspensions, or price tags. Range Rover, while iconic, is now a product of globalized manufacturing, sourcing parts from a patchwork of countries. Kantanka, despite importing some components, remains a company deeply rooted in Ghana's soil, employing local engineers, designers, and assembly workers. Every Onantefo that rolls off the production line is not just a vehicle. It is a statement about Africa's capacity to innovate, manufacture, and compete on the world stage. In strict technical terms, the Range Rover still leads in luxury, refinement, and technological sophistication. But the Onantefo is not trying to replicate the Range Rover experience. It is charting a new path, one where African buyers have a choice tailored to their realities and aspirations. It is not a copy of European luxury. It is the blueprint of African ingenuity. In the years ahead, as more Onantefos populate the highways and backroads of Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and beyond, they will stand as more than just transport machines. They will embody a growing belief that excellence need not be imported. It can be built at home, fueled by the same roads, the same dust, and the same dreams that drive the continent forward.